Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
We've gone here. August Fall should be the Stáisiún Tomás MacDonagh. There is no denying that the Great War divided Ireland. Nor shall he know when loud March blows, through slanting snow her fanfare shrill, blowing to flames the golden cup of many an upset daffodil. But when the dark cow leaves the moor, and pastures poor with greedy weeds, perhaps he'll hear her low at morn, lifting her horn in pleasant meads. A year after penning the poem, on the 31st of July, 1917, Francis Ledwidge died in action at the Battle of Passchendaele. The train station we are gathered in today, and which is named in honour of Thomas MacDonagh, was opened in 1848, and from the beginning was closely connected with providing security to the nearby military barracks. The barracks itself was built between 1801 and 1803 as a direct result of the 1798 rebellion. The train station was used extensively to transport troops to conflicts such as the Crimean War 1854-1856, the Anglo-Boer War 1899 to 1902, and the Great War 1914 to 1918. Many thousands of soldiers, sailors, airmen, nurses, and chaplains departed from this station to partake in the great uncertainty of war. During the Great War, over 3,000 men and women from Kilkenny City and County enlisted and filtered through this railway station to the great unknown. The young men going to war were filled with bravado, enthusiasm, and excitement as they prepared to depart. At that time, this small station, comprising of 4 lines, became a bustling mass of heaving humanity. Bands played, flags waved, as families and friends gathered. A cacophony of chaotic noise reverberated. But in the midst of the revelry, parents and sweethearts were in a fretful quandary. Aware that this could be the last time they would ever see their loved ones, tears mingled with the parting hugs and kisses. For many, there would not be a return journey. These young men were leaving their homeland to fight in a foreign place with strange sounding names. Names that families at home located on maps. And this knowledge helped to maintain a sense of unity. And the frequent use of these names helped them become part of family life. Today, 100 years since the cessation of the great conflict, these names remain part of Kilkenny's history, trailing darkness and bringing memories of other generations. They whisper to us across the silent years. Les Pellis, Ypres, Flanders Fields, the Somme, the Dardanelles. With the armistice in 1918, the train station once more became a hub of military activity as those who survived the awful terrors returned to the sanctuary of home. The lucky ones returned uninjured, but the unlucky ones, such as Sergeant Barry, died during the first week of combat. The first group of soldiers leaving the station are what was described as the lucky. Though the soldiers returned to the joyous, welcoming arms of families, it was not always an occasion of celebration. Often waiting families were devastated to see their loved ones dramatically changed. The ebullient young men were now morose, world-weary veterans. Many of those returning were unrecognizable, even to waiting family members. Physically marked, many were minus limbs, many blinded, and even those physically unmarked carried mental scars that would remain with them always. This scene was replicated at railway stations all over the country. Perhaps the most poignant scene enacted at this railway station saw 25 returning soldiers, all in their 20s, each dressed in new suits and carrying cardboard suitcases. These men were marched under guard to the lunatic asylum. All were suffering from shell shock. None of them ever left the asylum alive. The human spirit is resilient. He's learned to cope. The country learned to cope, and indeed, the world learned to cope. For whatever the human tragedy and the horrendous cost, peace had come at last, and mankind would never have to witness such barbarity again, because, thankfully, this great conflict was the war to end all wars.
were called in from the glen, and the country found them ready at the stirring call for men. Let no tears add to their hardship as the soldiers pass along, and though your heart is breaking, make it sing this cheery song. Keep the home fires burning while your hearts are yearning. Though your lads are far away, they dream of home. There's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining. Turn the dark cloud inside out till the boys come home. Overseas there came a fleeting and nation in distress, and we gave our glorious laddies honor bade us soon no less. For no guarantee of freedom to a tyrant's yoke should bend, and a noble